in the first minute.
What is up, everybody? I'm Alex with Swamp Rat Fishing. My co-hostess with the mostest, Paul Roberts, is here. And I just want to say, it feels awesome to be back. I was off for a little 2 weeks. I stopped in last week for a little bit. But it feels really, really awesome to be back. Back with my co-hostess with the mostest, Paul. Paul, brother, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm wonderfully wonderful. I'm so glad that I take my role back as being just the pretty face of the podcast, and you're doing all the work. Even though it ain't gonna last long, I'm gonna relish this moment.
Listen, you could tell I wasn't there to rein in last week's episode, the battle of the co-hosts that ran for a record over 2 hours. It was a mighty episode.
It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And, honestly, that's shorter than what Sean and I anticipated.
Yeah, it's a great episode. I want to thank you again for helping out, taking over duties, taking over some of this work while I'm in limbo. But I should be up and running for the next couple of weeks. I should be on, which is really good. Tonight we've got OG Scuba Fishing. We've got Steven, as he likes to be called, with us. And he's going to go over the big thing why we got on here. Not only is he a stick, but also he did really well in being a co-angler in a regional BFL series. So we really want to dive into that. We figure that's something that you don't hear a lot, somebody's experience and how to do all of that. But
yeah, it's gonna be awesome because there's folks out there that want to do it and they're either scared or don't know how to get started. And there's potentially folks out there that know you can do this. And so Mr. Steven here is going to give us a good introduction into how to get started and then how he was successful. Because if anybody's ever fished off the back of the boat in a non-team tournament, like you out there competing with the guy in the front of the boat, you don't understand the position you get put in because you're literally in the rear of the boat. You might as well be in the rear of a donkey because that's about how good the fishing is when the turds, because it's all a bunch of turd fishing. But anyway, I will say, I know you didn't want to bring this up because you ain't been fishing, but I have been fishing.
Yes,
I went
that's
today.
What I wanted to talk about.
I went today, and the last time I fished was at a tournament where not only did I get skunked, I didn't even get a bite. It was pretty terrible. I had to leave early too, so I couldn't even try to grind it out. But anyway, went out for 2 hours today to good old Sharon Harris, and I know Lone Star and Mr. Hooked Up North are probably over there laughing, mocking me, and they hadn't even heard this yet. But let me tell y'all something: the shad. Oh my God, I did the farthest I got from the damn ramp today was 40 yards, and I caught putting the boat 28, 30 bass.
That's awesome.
And I had probably another 10 jump off as I was flipping them in. It was absolutely amazing day fishing. 2 hours. It was wonderful. I feel like I could go whoop Kevin Van Dam and any other professional bass fisherman out there right now. I could
even Mike Iaconelli.
Even Ike. I would whoop Ike's ass right now. I'm probably the greatest.
I could whoop Ike's ass right now, and I haven't fished in a month, so don't worry.
I am the greatest angler walking this earth right now. I guarantee.
Love it, man. I love it. I'm glad to. I'm super stoked to hear. And I mean, we're gonna put this out on the podcast because we did talk about this before we started recording. You recorded the whole thing, so now here's your push. You need to edit that up. I think that's going to be awesome for people to see. Sounds like a ton of action. This is that push because I know you've got eons worth of content sitting on old DAT tapes in a bunker that we need to get you getting in there, editing it up, releasing it out. So I hope you use this as a push. It's a great day. You got to show that, man.
It was. And the best fish, the best footage, the best content that I recorded was the biggest fish that I caught jumping out of the water, looked like Michael Phelps doing the breaststroke flips, all kinds of shit. Looked like a crazy smallmouth. 3 just huge jump out of the water.
I love it.
My big ass head was between the camera and the fish the whole, we're past time, the whole fucking time. And so I'm really bummed about it, so I might not do shit. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get Mr. OG Scuba Steve on, and we'll roll with it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear. I've heard you the whole time.
I can't hear anybody. Look at this. This is awesome.
Paul, you can hear me?
I'll be right back.
I can hear everybody. So Steve, Alex, this was just a tease. It's just me and you.
That's it, right? He's going to run away now.
Oh, we'll give him a minute to come back on. I guess he's restarting everything.
So, Paul, you were slaying fish today, huh?
It was, Bo. It was one of those days. 2 hours, 30 fish. It was just one of those days, man. I mean, it's been a long time since
the fall
I've had a
bite
day like that.
The fall bite is on, you know.
Oh, it is for us. And so what's weird, the last couple of weeks with this lake, back in some of the shorter creeks, the water looked like antifreeze.
Oof.
It had that antifreeze greenish color, and it wasn't. It was just subsurface.
You think it's from the pollen and grass dying off and stuff? The leaves dying off?
I think it was the lake turning over because there was a lot of bubbles coming up from the bottom. I'm not an expert in this, but I've been reading and shit. It seems like that lake was turning over. The water temps were kind of in the high 80s, excuse me, lower 80s. And now today it was 73. So
holy shit, you're still at low 80s? Jesus.
Well, 73 today. You gotta understand, man, I'm in North Carolina. It's still been damn 90 degrees.
What's that called? What's the water specialist called? You know, like a tree guy's an arborist. What's the water guy?
Hydrologist.
Okay, whatever.
Fucking sounds enough. Yeah, I'll take it.
I mean,
sounds legit.
See, y'all didn't expect me to know. I'm a smart motherfucker. People just don't think it because I sound hillbilly and I look homeless. I mean,
all right. Before we get too much farther into this, let me bring back the reins. Before we get too much into this, I want to thank Hookset Hoodlums for their continued support of the podcast. Scuba Fishing is also a member of Hookset. It's weird. It's awesome being part of Hookset because you just have a wealth of guests at a moment's notice. It's amazing. But they've got some big things coming up in 2022. Can't talk about it, but huge things. Right now is the time to get on the wave, folks. Get on there, get that merch. Like, there is big things happening. So, and then we'll do a beer crack. Everybody got something to drink tonight?
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Steve?
Steve is gonna
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels, whiskey and cola already mixed, in the can. So
yeah, we call that the guy who wants to drink White Claw but doesn't want to admit it. Drink.
No White Claws, no White Claws ever.
Paul, what do you got, brother?
Look, there ain't nothing. Look, this right here got 8% in it. This is 8%er truly.
He's probably 7 deep already.
Not yet. My words are still coming out full. I changed it up. I got a Goose Island Beer Company Tropical Hug. It is a double DH double IPA, 9.9% alcoholic by volume.
That is a very good beer.
Hey, Alex,
what do you got?
I had a Cape made 2 episodes ago just for you. It was
he did. I
saw it, man.
I feel like that's like drinking mud. I can't drink stuff like that.
Like IPAs?
Yeah, too thick, man.
So I've got an IPA. I can never get that right. So with me being out in California,
you know what?
St. Archer.
For you guys today, hold on. I got IPAs in the fridge. I'm gonna grab one. I'll drink it just for you guys.
You got to shotgun it live.
Oh, jeez.
Look, this is a 16 ouncer. I am not shotgunning another one.
No, I'm not.
Last time I
shot beer. It took forever for me to get done cleaning off the mess everywhere from when we shotgun beers with Josh from Dark Waters. Like there was beer everywhere. When I came up out of the basement to talk to the wife, she was like, "Holy shit, you smell like a brewery." And I was like, "Well, it's because I failed at shotgunning a beer." And she just looked at me and she's like, "What's your problem? What are you, 17?" all the cool kids were doing it.
I got two locally brewed IPAs. I'll let you guys choose which one. This one's a goose. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's called Old Pro.
Okay.
It's this is Union Brewery here in Baltimore.
Union Brewery, yeah.
And then this one is the Steady Eddie.
I like that one. Let's go with that one.
All right.
All right, you guys ready to crack?
Yeah.
Paul, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Whose beer shorted? Whose beer shorted?
Probably mine. I'm gonna have to chug this because this shit is disgusting.
Listen, how fast can you do it without? How fast? Kill it.
Chug it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Get it. For the listeners, Steven is doing his best to chug this IPA, which he thinks tastes gross. But he's a trooper. Did he get through the whole thing?
Yeah.
My man.
His Adam's apple looks like he swallowed a can.
It's because I'm a man.
All right, so
the
main reason we got you on here, like we talked about, you're a stick, you're a hoodlum, but you've been doing this co-angler thing, and I really want to get into that. But before we get to that, kind of just give us an introduction. We talked before you got on camera. You said this is your first podcast, other than a Fishing with Answers with Hookset. So kind of introduce yourself to the millions upon millions of loyal Bass and Brews fans. So how did you get started fishing?
How did I get started fishing? I grew up in a town right on the water. Everybody saltwater fished. We grew up. I was literally half a block away from the inlet. Down the block to my right. If I came out the house and made a right and walked all the way down, I just hit water in about 5 minutes. It was about a mile from the main ocean. But everybody saltwater fished. It was bluefish, shiners. That was it. You went out with, cast it from the shore and we fished that way.
And where's this at?
I grew up in Long Island, New York.
Gotcha.
Towards the east.
Stripers, bluefish.
Bluefish. We'd go out in the morning. We'd catch a bunch of what the fuck would they call them when they're babies? Not shiners. We'd start out with shiners. We'd catch baby bluefish. Then you use them to catch the bigger bluefish.
Right. Yeah. You use the schoolies, cut them up, chunk them out there.
And then I got into bass fishing because one of my good friends, Frank Demiria, he's in the Army still, I think. So Frank, if you ever see this, thank you for your service. He was like the guy who put me on to the greenfish bass fishing, and we would like go fishing, and he was just a fucking outdoorsman, woodsman he was just an animal. And like we would walk through the woods for like 40 minutes to places that no one's getting to and just fish all day long. And I'd be there. I never really had much patience. So he would catch like 40 fish because he just had the patience for it at that time in life. I mean, I was like 12, 13 years old.
Right.
And I just didn't have, I would be with like a worm just.
So fishing a worm like Wild Bill does.
Yeah.
Yeah. while Bill's burning his galaxy worm back in on a 8-to-1 reel.
Yeah.
And like, this how you do it. This how you do it.
Oh boy. Here we go.
I totally forgot about the team chat when he was trying to justify him working that worm too fast, and everybody just like, and he was just like, I swear, I was just trying to pick up the slack. That was sorry, that was
yeah, no.
right there.
And then as I grew up, as I got older, I would fish with my buddy JB. I still talk to him all the time. We would go out and like invade these lakes out on the East End and like Bridgehampton and the Hamptons, like these rich people houses, just I mean like multi-million-dollar houses surround. They would, and these beautiful lakes, and they don't even fish them. And this one we would always hit was like it was like there was a house on this dune, and on the other side was the ocean, and on this side was this giant freshwater lake, probably like I don't know, 100 acres or something. And we would just slay bass there all day long on, you know, buzz baits and shit. Because no one was fishing. Like these rich people, they don't want to fish. They don't give a fuck.
So were you on the bank, or did y'all have a little?
No, we would wader out. We would literally wader the whole lake.
Nice.
Just, I mean, the shittiest waders you could ever imagine. They'd fill with water in like 10 minutes. So I might as well just run out and fucking no shoes on, Cody style, that Lockwood fishing style, and just fish that way. But
you know it's crazy, man. And people might not know this. You're a big Wu-Tang fan, right?
Oh, gigantic, bro.
So I was, and this is just spur of the moment. They have a documentary on Showtime about Wu-Tang.
Watch on Hulu. On Hulu is
they've got another one too, right? But what's crazy?
Oh my!
What's crazy is. The one on Showtime, I watched the first episode. RZA was talking about bass fishing in ponds in Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? Bobby Digital fishes? You got to be kidding me. I don't know if that's a thing with him, but.
No, he fishes. A lot of basketball players fish too. Carmelo Anthony's a bass fisherman. Paul George is a big-time bass fisherman.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's what I love about this, man. This sport is just, there's no restriction. You talk to people and you meet people that you would never talk to on a regular daily basis, and then you find out how much commonality you really have. Like, yo, you want to rid the world of hatred? Go fishing.
Yeah,
that's it. Go fishing. I was talking to somebody. They were telling me a story. I can't remember who it was, but they were telling me a story that they used to fish every single day. And they would stand a black guy would stand right next to a KKK member, and they would fish every day back in the day and talk to each other about fish, bait.
Right.
But in the regular world, these two guys would never have a conversation. But fishing on the bridge they were fishing on, they fished every day they'd fish together, he said, for like 2-3 summers straight.
Yeah, fishing. I mean, there's just something about it, right? Obviously, we're sitting here talking about it, right? But there's just something about it that just draws in everybody, and it is a great equalizer. It doesn't matter whether you're that rich guy with that house up on the dune or you're a poor kid in a trailer. Like, everybody's got the same shot as long as they have the skill to do it.
And then, I mean, I lost. You know, life gets in the way of everything, and you lose. You know, when I moved to Florida, I was fishing a lot when I first moved down there. Like, because I mean, it was like 3-pound, 4-pound, 5-pound fish every day of the week.
Yeah.
And then just life got in the way, and I stopped fishing. I mean, for like 5-6 years, I stopped fishing altogether. You know, I always had the love for it. Like, I would have a bass sticker on my car, and you know, little bass fucking air freshener would be hanging in the mirror. So it was always in my head, back of my mind. If it was on TV, I would watch it while I'm sitting there. But it's just life didn't give me the time to do it. And then my wife now, she bought me a rod for Christmas like 4 Christmases ago. But it was like this $10 Walmart special. And I'm like, you know, that's real nice, babe, but I would probably never use that. So, but thank you. You sparked it. So that's when I jumped really heavy back into it. And fun fact is actually this tournament season that I just fished was my first tournament season ever.
That's awesome, man.
That's
insane. And especially for coming back into it, like only 3 years ago, to then go do that on your first season. That's awesome, man.
And I mean, I really ramped back up heavy. I mean, like when 3 years ago I started fishing, I was fishing like, go out for a half hour, 45 minutes, every few days or something, or once every month. And then about a year and a half ago, I said, you know what? I need something to just zen the fuck out. Cause I have the kids, the house, the bills. I need something that's going to just take the edge down. And fishing is what did that for me. And then, I don't want to get ahead, I don't want to, because we're going to ask those questions of how I got into the tournament fishing and all that stuff.
I got you. Yeah. So how did you get into the tournament fishing?
I was.
Nice. You had it, man. No, dude,
Look,
you had it. Like,
no,
go and
hold
talk.
Hold
you had it perfect.
No, this is our fucking show. We're gonna run it, Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
So you listen to
See,
our
I'm
questions.
trying.
Don't be answering questions we ain't asked yet.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? I don't want to answer no questions you didn't ask yet. Exactly.
All right. In all seriousness, though, so how did you get into the tournament fishing, the co-angler side?
So when I was younger, I played competitive baseball. I played basketball, football, you name it. I played it.
Because aren't you like 6'9" and 390? I mean, you're a big dude.
When I was I'm 6'6" now. I'm 6'6", like 250, 260. But when I was younger, I couldn't gain weight for anything. I was 6'6", 180 forever. So I was a string bean. And so I played.
You're the biggest fucking mechanic I have ever seen. I mean, do your cars even, you don't even have jacks. You probably just got like one hand under the fender. You lift that shit up. You do what you need to do. I mean, god dang. How the fuck your back don't hurt every day? It's like looking into a Tonka truck. That's because you be working on you're working on Teslas and Honda Civics and shit.
I work on anything, man. I'm not scared of a car. Them Teslas, let me tell you, I did work on a Tesla. The type, the fuck is that? The Model T, I think it is. The SUV one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
everybody's scared. I was driving home one day. This lady, the tire flew off. The shop she went to put the tire on all wrong. No, for real, tire flew off. It was sitting on the. This is when I had before I crashed my Tacoma. So it was sitting on the ground, the tire flew off. So I pull over in the rain. I help her out. I get the tire back on with like 2 lug nuts I could find scattered in the street. While I'm helping her, another car spins out and goes into the fucking woods. Okay, so I pull my truck around, I strap that, and I pull that out, and that girl gets out safely. And so the lady brought the car to the shop. I had to put a rim on it, a fender well, a fender, some trim, lower control arm, and it's like extremely hard to get Tesla parts. You either have to be a body shop that's certified for Tesla or a repair shop that's certified for Tesla. And the certification's like $75,000. So we have a friend up the street that has a body shop that's certified for Teslas. So he got us the parts we needed, And but like $75,000, you gotta be like state of the art. Mm-hmm. And I take pride in what I do and for a living because it gives me the freedom to enjoy fishing, it really does. I get to get
as our friend Cupcake Coley posts all the time. I do this, or no, I this so I can that.
Exactly.
And, it's always that I do this so I can fish is what it comes down to. But hey, y'all, you see how this is why Alex is important to this show, y'all. Do you see how quickly I can take this shit from fishing to the biggest fucking mechanic you've ever seen fixing a Tesla?
No, if you watch my feed, that's the one thing that because look, the winter's coming, and this Instagram shit, like I really wish we could just fish, and still do what we do like this, but it doesn't work that way. You need content, you need the content. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why, I've started, as you've seen in probably the last 6 to 8 months, I've started incorporating my work stuff into it. Different cars. Yep. I had the 53 Chevy that I'm doing a bunch of work to that I put up.
Got Ashton Martin yesterday or today too, right?
Yeah, that came in, and it's like that person actually bought in their Porsche truck the next day to get work done to it as well. So it's like that's what I want to work on. I don't want to work on these fucking Priuses and all that bullshit. But
I think putting that up is smart. If you go back to the episode we did with Ramon Outdoors, the social media episode, that's like we really kind of dug on that, on like you can use that, and I think it's a great idea because it shows people another side of you, right? It shows somebody another side of your brand, and I think that's a really good idea.
But I mean, what it's done is it's opened up as well another avenue where now I'm linked up with the guys in the car world. The tool, like because I did a live the other day with some guys that are just like tool, you know, they got like YouTube for tools, YouTube for cars. So these guys are kind of in that realm. And I actually hopped on a live with them, and the first thing they said was, "You're a fishing motherfucker," you know? That was the first words out of their mouth. Like, man, Scuba, you're a fishing motherfucker. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's what I enjoy to do. And that's the main reason I got into the tournament series. So back to Alex's question, the way I got into the tournament series,
he's like a professional. He's getting his shit back on track himself.
I love it.
Yeah, I've always been like I'm like Paul. I go into the tournaments in your mentality. You know, like me, I don't view my season as a success because I didn't win shit. So in my personal view, I failed, but I did reach some goals. You know, that's right there. When I played sports, I was like, I could never play just. I don't even shoot basketballs anymore. Because I can't just be casual. It's either 100% or nothing, and I can't do 100% because I blew my knee apart playing baseball down south like 8 years ago. So for me, the only sport I was playing was golf, and you can't really get fucking super. You know what I mean? Like, how you can't, you can strive to do better. Like, I mean, I wasn't shitty. I was shooting mid-80s at one point, but it's just that competitive edge was missing. So when I started to do some research and look into it, I found the competitive fishing. I don't have a kayak or a boat, so I wanted to do the kayak bass fishing series this year, but hopefully next year I can do that. This was the only other way, and I started to look into it, and I saw, Phoenix, I started looking at the major series, and I know there's local ones you can get into, and I'm like, do I really want to waste my time to go win $100? Fishing, right? And if I'm gonna win, I want to win like $1,000 or $2,000. I want to win something. And substantial.
And so your local stuff is probably like my local stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's like
if you're fishing a local club, so you're competing with the guy in front of the boat.
In a local club, your top prize is like $500, $600.
Well, so the money doesn't matter though. You're competing in the back of the boat. You're competing with everybody else fishing, right? And so we'll get into this.
In the locals, yes.
In the local, the national tournaments that you're fishing, that MLF, you're only competing against other co-anglers.
The co-anglers, yes.
So you're at your advantage is the same versus I fished local bass club tournaments back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I didn't have a boat. I was one of 2 non-boaters, but I've competed against every other boater.
And that's tough because you're at a disadvantage at that point because you don't have a say in where the boat goes, and that's okay. I understand. Look, I didn't pay 50, 60 grand for the boat. You did. So I'm going to rock with you now,
But this is, And this is why, this is why the co-angler side of this is why it's interesting because you're on the same playing field as all the other co-anglers. And so that's the whole point about it. That's what's intriguing to that, even though the money, the buy-in's going to be more and you got to travel a little more maybe, but you don't, you're on the same playing field as all your competitors. So
the buy-ins I might be crazy, but in my opinion, the events weren't that expensive for what you're fishing and what you can win. It was I think $100 an event, and you could win like $2,500 first place.
It was $100 an event. That's actually not bad at all. That's a lot lower than I thought it was going to be.
That's what I'm saying. I think the 2-day event was $130.
Okay.
So, but
and how many events did you fish?
I fished all 5 in my regular season.
So 500 bones.
What made you?
Go ahead, Paul.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted Alex. Go ahead, Alex.
No, you're good. No, Scuba said, go ahead, Paul. Scuba's
No, you were going into the money side. You
Yeah,
said
okay,
500
so,
bones.
you know,
Go ahead.
it's
$500.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah,
$500. You don't have to. I mean, you're pitching in for gas. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah,
you throw the guy some cash for gas.
Look, that's one thing that I should definitely touch on. There's an unwritten etiquette that you have to have. Okay, if you're gonna get into co-angling, you got to, listen. Most boaters, they don't expect you to pay $100 for gas. No, 40, maybe 30 to $50, and they're happy.
Okay.
What I like to do is I call you'll get your boater info the day before. Every time I call them, I say, hey, bud, it's me. Introduce what do you plan on fishing? Where are we going? Deep, shallow? Are you going to be moving? You going to be punching? What's your plan? So that way I can adjust what I'm going to bring with me to that fact. Because, we all have a ton of fucking tackle. My wife yells at me every day that I have too much fishing shit. And so, so I can adjust and bring what I need to bring, the colors I want to bring. I'll talk to them if they pre-fished, what the water looks like, if it's cloudy, if it's clear, so if I'm bringing black and blue, if I'm bringing green pumpkin, if I'm bringing stealth pump, whatever, just to adjust. So I can make my adjustments because I don't really have a chance to pre-fish. And then when I get there, I don't wait till the end. I'll hand the money to them right away. So that, because that just takes the edge off. Because most boaters are like, here I go again. This, am I going to get shafted?
Yeah.
So,
another jack nuts.
So, I mean, out of the 5 boats I rode on, one of them was a fucking prick and I didn't pay him because he nosed me out. He didn't really let me fish the holes. He caught one fish all fucking day long. So we weren't on fish anyways, but he was a jerk off, whatever. He plotted out like single beds to fish. He said he was there for 3 days and he plotted single bedding fish. Like,
I remember you talking about this.
Horrible. So I didn't give him gas. Well, fuck him, man. For the last 3 hours of the day, I didn't get to fish anything but out behind the boat, out in the deep.
So I think I don't do it, but I've heard a lot.
Bedding fish.
Yeah. So I guess another unwritten rule is like you're not supposed to cast forward, right?
Well, I mean, you can the other 4 boaters were cool with it as long as you have to pay attention. If the boater's fishing to the right, I'll cast up. I won't cast like straight up to the left, but I'll cast up out a little bit to the left. And usually they're okay with it. It's just about respecting the boat. I don't step on their seats. If they ask for a net, you make sure not to step on their seats. You don't throw the fish on the seats.
No dipping glow and fucking,
I don't use that. I don't use that stuff anyways because to me it's pointless. Scent, liquid scents and all that shit. I don't use that stuff.
So like I'm assuming what I'm hearing is you have good communication with the boaters. Like you probably ask them what's the rule? Like, what's the rules of your boat? What do you expect from me? Shit like that. So,
in the future, I hope to be a boater, and when I'm boating, it's a 60,000 piece of machinery. You expect to treat it like it's your own, man. That's it. And most of the time, they're cool. If I have a bunch of I don't pack like a lot of food. I'll pack snacks like granola bars and shit like that. I'll offer, just whatever. You want water? You want this? You want that? And it's a smooth thing. The other thing I say is keep in touch with those guys for whoever's listening. When you want to go out there and, it's not easy to do that. And when I decided to sign up for that series, there's another series as well, that the Toyota series. There's the 2 major series. There's the MLF and then there's Bass. Bass is cool, but it's really expensive. And then the Toyota series is really expensive, and the Toyota series is usually only 3 events per region, but it's like
he is so good at this. I'm gonna interrupt you because he is so fucking good at this. Because I was just about to say before we go any further, back up and tell us why you chose the ML. Like, why did you choose the trail that you chose?
Now the Phoenix I chose Phoenix Bass Series 1 because it's affordable. like if you work a job and you can afford to fish that tournament, you can afford, and they have, I can't even tell you how many regions, but they have regions all over it's split up into like the Northeast region would be hard for me to travel because it'd be like 6 hours of driving. So that's why I did the Shenandoah, because I think the most I had to drive was 4.5 hours.
That's not bad at all.
Damn.
Yeah. So
for 5 tournaments, that's pretty good.
Up and down the coast, they have, I think the region number 3 is like the whole East Coast. Region number 4 is like the middle of the country. Then they got the Midwest and then the West. So there's,
and to be clear, the Phoenix is the MLF.
Yes. Phoenix is part of the MLF Big Five. MLF has 5 major series. So the reason why I picked the Phoenix, one, because it was my first season ever. So I didn't want to jump into. To me, I know it's a big series, but to me, it's like, you know what? Let me get a couple of these in, then I'll try the Toyota series, because the Toyota series is like this next step. Like if you do well in that, pretty much it's time to go to your own boat and then jump up into like the semi-pro fishing,
right?
And that. But
I think that's awesome, that progression and how you explained it, because you did say it before. So you just said you're like, oh, I didn't want to do too much, but I do like that you picked something that's going to have 5 events over just 3.
Well, the reason
not only are you going to up your chances, but then you also have an option to learn the whole process more instead of like knocking one out a month.
Well, it's kind of like what Nate said, like that competitiveness was missing. Like I didn't have something to compete in. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to go to the gym and play a pickup game of basketball. I just can't. My knee, like any lateral movement, my knee buckles and I hit the ground. I could be walking and turn too fast, and that happens. So, I mean,
listen, man, whenever you want to go, I feel like I could win right now. So I'll definitely play you in basketball. I'll show you the dope moves of deadlift shrimp, and I'll kill it.
So a big ass motherfucker to be falling down just by turning fast,
dude. It's not even a joke, man. I'll be walking. I was in we were in my wife's mom's kitchen, and I turned and literally hit the ground. And like, what happened? My knee buckled. And that's just how it is. So I needed something to compete.
Yeah.
And then after the first event, it was just hooked. It was my first event. I caught 3 fish, 1 keeper. Which what I gauged my fishing as, the way I approached these tournaments was, all right, let's get a fish in. Let's get that 1 fish on the boat and then just progress, see what I can do, And to say, like, my first tournament, I caught 3, I think it was 4 fish actually. And mind you, it was freezing and the dude was moving like lightning. All right. Now we all know cold water, slow down, right? I'm not wrong, right?
It was absolutely right.
It was
Paul. You don't know about cold water.
Paul,
you don't know about cold water. Paul.
It was.
Bitch, like, our water was 35 degrees this winter in January.
Paul,
we talking about cold water.
Paul,
fish are cold blooded. They are comfortable in any water.
This was in April or May. We had a cold snap. When we hit the water, the temperature was like 48 degrees in the air. So the water was probably below 30 when we hit the water. He was cruising probably.
My first kayak tournament this year, when we launched, it was 21 degrees air temperature.
You're in a kayak. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
I don't wear no socks.
You're because you're insane, but you can't break 5 miles an hour. If you're lucky, you do 6. Especially because you're in a Hobie.
Listen, I have been on a boat. You can hear him squeak the whole time.
I have been on a boat in 30-degree water. Well, look, it don't matter how fucking cold it was for us on a boat or a kayak. We talking about the fucking fish. How cold it was.
Well, it was. Frosty.
You don't matter how cold you were. We don't give a fuck about you. It's about the fish. Anyway, keep talking because this is going down. This is going to be like the Sean episode where he tried to argue with me about, look, I'm trying to give the motherfucker a compliment, and he's over here like not like I'm trying to give him a free ribeye steak, and he's like, no, I love ribeyes, but I'm not eating your steak, Paul. Continue.
So the guy was just doing a lot of dead brush. It was all dead brush, dead grass. He was doing a lot of punching, dropping a small little weightless craw into these brush piles. But I was fishing holes with like a spinner bait. I had a peanut butter and jelly chatterbait. The water was real cloudy and I black and blue. My keeper was caught on a peanut butter and jelly CFL chatterbait with actually I think it was a stretching lines trailer. If I remember.
Shout out.
I'm pretty sure it was, and then the rest of the baits were on spinners. But like we got to a hole where we caught like 7 fish on this one cove, and I'm like, why are we gonna move? We're catching fish here, like the rule don't leave fish to go look for fish. It don't make no sense. So he had a snag or something. So I was fishing this hole with the spinner, and boom, I throw it in once, pull it out, throw it in the second, and I mean it was like the perfect hole, and around it was just all brush, and then like an alleyway into it. I'm like, there's definitely a fish in there. There's gotta be. And I was trying to fish holes like this all day long, but he's moving so fast, I would get like 1 cast, and then that was it. But he had to stop here, so I'm 1, nothing, 2, nothing, 3rd cast, sure as shit, bang, smack, And I'm like, I caught a fish here, you caught a fish here, I caught another fish here, you caught a fish here. So the one thing I noticed was off the bat is I was hanging with the boaters. So that right there told me, like, all right, you're doing something right, because you're hanging with the boater. He's catching, you're catching. He's catching, you're catching. And one thing I will say is most boaters are okay. Like if they go to a hole and then they roll past it and you go into that hole, they don't care. Like that's one of the major things you got to do is keep an eye on the boater, because most of the time, if they're using their screens, they're seeing something. They're just not getting a bite. So like he would punch a hole or shoot a hole. I would go right into that hole once he got out of it, And
do you so in that scenario, are you going to? Because I think this comes up with a lot of people. I know I always thought this, but and I can't be the only one. So would you look at what your boater's throwing and try to throw something that to make sure that you're not throwing what they're throwing? Like something complimentary, like if he's going through these holes, you know what I mean, and running a moving bait, are you gonna slow it down with finesse on the back end?
My game plan I would shoot my game plan off the weather.
Okay.
And I would, stick to that game plan. Like when I got skunked, I just said I'm gonna throw jigs all day long, because the week before I was killing it with jigs. So I stuck to jig, and you know what, I skunked, but I said I'm not going to switch, because my boater wasn't catching fish either. He was catching like bluegill and dinks all day long, wacky worming. So, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stay with what I got. If something hits, something hits. If not, fuck it, whatever. Yeah. And, I'll look at the water clarity, the temp, the regular temperature, the weather, and I'll base my game plan off of that. And then I'll stick to my game plan. Like we had one tournament, it was a lot of overcast. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my day on top water until the sun breaks. I'm not going to get away from top water. And it worked. My keepers on, that was the last tournament I was in. And my keepers on that one, which pushed me into where I could have went to where I made my placement for 38th overall, was caught on top water in overcast. So, and then I broke, when the sun came out and broke away, I changed up to some other stuff and caught a couple other fish, but they didn't keep. So my thing is
going in was like your mindset is I'm the boater. I'm fishing the weather. I'm not going to, if he says he's fishing spinner baits, chatterbaits, and crankbaits, then you're not going, okay, great. I'm going to throw wacky rigs and Carolina rigs behind him. Your mentality is I'm preparing to fish this tournament based off of the weather conditions and fishing conditions.
Yeah.
Good.
And if he catches a fish on my tournament before this one, I caught my most. I caught like 6-7 fish. My boater caught like 8 or 9. All he fished was drop shot all day long. He was a great boater though. He was like, once I had 3, he's like, all right, we're gonna get you to 5. We're gonna get you to 5. Like once he had his 5, he was cool. He didn't care.
Right.
Like he was grabbing fish, but he was like, I'm gonna get you to 5. And I did.
Quick
caught
question.
like 7. Go ahead.
Quick question. So you're in the MLF version. Did y'all have like regular weigh-ins, or how did that work?
Yeah,
in
we
the
have
series
full, you get out of the boat. You
okay, so because
yeah.
MLF they weigh them on the boat and just catch.
That's
release.
the Toyota series, and I think next year they're trying to do the problem with that is you need an official weigher.
Right. I was curious how that worked in the. In your that's all.
But even the Toyota,
but
even the Toyota series for their championship round, they didn't do every fish counts. They went to Big 5. Or no, it was the other way around. They went to every fish counts. They did Big 5 all year, and then the championship they switched over.
And they have I think 3 guys on the boat in the Toyota series.
Insane.
They need a guy there to verify. So like I caught a lot of fish with him, and that's the thing. Like I stuck to my game plan. I did my weightless Texas, and he kept all day, drop shot. I'm like, man, I'm just not a drop shot fisherman. It's not something that I'm gonna do. I'll stick to my weightless Texas rig, and my jigs, and hey, big up to these guys because I mean,
Beach Coast, Hooks at Hoodlums has given so much money to Beach Coast.
Beach Coast Fishing
phenomenal.
Has caught me a fish in every single tournament that I went in. They caught.
You got that little sneaky trick. We talked about it.
Yeah,
we talked about it. I think on a live stream. Paul, you were there, but I don't know if you remember because you were there physically, but I don't know if you were there mentally.
I will vouch for the Magic Flick. That's all I'm gonna say. The Magic Flick is a great bait. It is the Magic Flick is a drop shot bait, but you can use it in other ways, and it is solidified. The Magic, Cody, I went fishing with Lockwood Fishing once, and he was like, "Oh, no." And I mean, the first cast with that thing, and I got smacked.
Mm-hmm. What's great is
Cody's like,
the way.
Hey, give me one of those. Give me one of them flick shakes. I gotta have one of them.
I like using the big
take fish and catch out my fish.
I like using the big flick shake on a Ned head.
Yeah,
because it's so big.
The
and
4-inch?
depending on how the 4-inch one, like the big one. And if you do the pop retrieve, where you're just popping that thing, but really cranking it up, when it comes down, it flutters. And when it hits, it kind of like swivels to where it looks like a small fry, like digging in grass.
That magic flick is like for real bass crack. It is no joke. It is no when my bite dies, that's what I go to, and I bring the bite right back. And the jigs they make are just unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Again, hey, Beach Coast, you're probably not listening, but you really got to get us like a Hooks at Hoodlums, like I don't know, like a signature series, something.
I reached out.
We've given so much.
I reached out to them about next year, maybe putting them on the jersey, see what they said, and they said
awesome.
they'll get back to me. So we'll see. But I don't
like it. So would you say overall it was a good experience for the? I know you said like in your eyes you didn't win the season, right? But you knocked some goals out.
Yeah,
successful?
I had set like 5 goals. First one was top 50. I was very close. I think I came in like 61st place in one of the tournaments.
Okay.
My second goal was top 20. Obviously, I didn't make that. My third goal was top 10. Fourth goal was to win an event. And my fifth goal was to qualify for the regional, which I achieved. So there were some successes. And for anybody that's a co-angler, you have to understand you're going to be – you literally are getting scraps. If you happen to get a big fish, there was one co-angler, he got like 21 pounds on 4 fish one event. But his boater had like 27 pounds. You know what I mean? So
they were insane, yeah.
They were on monster fish. I never got that opportunity to be on big fish. And one event I outfished the boater. I caught like 6 fish. He caught 1. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you make a game plan and stick to it. Just because you see the guy, he caught the first fish that day, but I stuck to what I know and what works for me. And like I saw that what I was fishing was slow. He had us on lily pads that were underwater, so I grabbed out, and shout out to also Bassic. They're a small bait company. I don't know where they're out of, but Bassic. I know Monster Bass sells them on their site. They have this thing called the Slash. Every time I use
remember you tell me about that one.
So like,
but I think that's important what you said on there, and we've covered it twice. Like I really want it, because if you look at anything about co-angling, right, the conventional wisdom and what a lot of people are saying, at least on social media and on YouTube and everything, is like you need to pair what you're doing off what your boater's doing, but you going in, because I feel like that would be frustrating. Like if I had to go out and I'm like, well, shit, he's throwing that, now I can't throw that. But now you saying and being successful on your first time ever doing this, making the regionals and doing all of that by doing your plan. Obviously, you have to like wiggle around as the day goes through, but you not calling your boater and going like, what are you going to throw? You're going to throw this? Okay, I'm going to throw the complete, like you having your game plan off the conditions, not based on what the guy patrolling boater's doing.
I will call him and just find out what are you going to fish? Are we going to fish deep? Are we going to fish shallow? Are you going to be in a lot of grass? Or, what is your game plan? I don't care what he's using. I just need to know the conditions I'm going to face. What was the clarity? Because obviously where you're pre-fishing, you're going to fish during the tournament. So I'll ask, what do you pre-fish to gauge, what I'm, obviously we fish, we know what we're going to use, what works. So like if he tells me, we're going to be in some coves, clear water, 6 to 8 feet deep, it's going to be this. I know that if it's rocky bottom or soft bottom, I know I can get away with like a lipless or a football jig or a jackhammer, we're going to be around brush piles. I know I can get away with, a swim jig or a jackhammer, chatterbait or whatever. If he tells me, I'm going to be in heavy grass, I know I got to bring heavy 1 ounce weights, bullet weights, some, some punch baits, stuff of that nature that's going to work,
No, but I like that. Again, a lot of people talk about how they're going to gauge, but you came in with a plan. You used their intel that they had, right? But then you're not basing what you throw off what they throw. I dig that. I think
the only bait that I always had on and kept on was my BFS setup with the weightless Texas rig.
Right.
That was the only setup that I never changed, because I know if it's a slow bite, that's where I'm going. I'm going to go to that setup. I'm just going to toss a weightless, fluke, magic flick, worm, whatever, and just let it soak and see what happens,
Yep.
Well, I think it's important. What I gathered from this, and what I think is important, is that you wanted to know what they were fishing, because if they're fishing in 40 foot of water with drop shot all day,
I got to know that.
You don't. You're not bringing. A frog.
No, you're not bringing a fluke.
Yeah, you're not bringing a fluke. Like, you're right.
I'm going to bring.
You're prepared to fish the style of fishing that they're going to do. But the other things that you ask are important. You ask, what's the water clarity? What's the cover like? Like, what are you seeing? You're asking those things so that if you're fishing in 30 foot of water and they're going to be drop shot and you don't drop shot, well, then you bring the shit that you fish.
I would bring like a 1 ounce jig, 3/4 inch jig.
Yeah. Your offshore stuff.
Yeah. My deep diving cranks, shit like that. That's going to really just work the deep. Like I said, I'm competitive. So when every day I want to win. I'm the same way you are, Paul. I don't want to get second place. If I'm gonna place, cool. But if I can place, I want to win. That's just how I am. So I could see from Sean's point, let me see what I can do. But me, I'm like, fuck that, man. I want to win. That's why. I'm don't get me wrong. I'm super, super, super psyched and stoked that I placed 38th overall. That was it came down to the last event at a 200.
That's a great finish, man.
So
that's a great finish.
You know, and it's, you know, I just got to look forward to next season. You know, it sucks. You know, I don't got no one to watch the kids. Got to do what you got to do. That's life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So are you fishing the same series, or are you gonna move up into? Is it the Toyota series?
I'm not at that level yet. You know, I want to
get. Gonna fish in the Phoenix series again.
Yes, I'm gonna fish the Phoenix series again. I'm gonna go to the regional next year. You know, I'm gonna make sure I plan ahead for it. I'm gonna be ready for it. You know, that was one thing I was telling Alex is when you took your bathroom break. Is you know.
Tinkle.
There was my first event out, which I think I kind of wavered from my plan, and I kind of jumped around on too many baits. You know, I know that now, and you know, that's the only event that I got outfished by the boater. You know, every other event I was right there with the boater fishing. Boom, 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 boom. You know, the one event where I got skunked was out of my hands, I would say. I mean, I tried to adjust. I threw some deep diving, deep lips. I threw some lipless cranks. You know, I was trying whatever I could to just try to get a bite out where I had to fish.
And so that's part of it too. Is if you're fishing a tournament during bedding season, you have to realize, you ain't gonna get your ass. The ass of that boat is going to be pointed to the other bank across, and you're going to have to.
Now, mind you, no other boater did that to me. He was the only one who did that to me. The dude did that. He was the only one. And so we would come into a cove, like say you got a cove, we'd come in from the right-hand side, and he would swing the ass of that boat to the left and just keep that nose facing the bank.
But when you're in the spawn time, that's what they're going to, I mean, you know,
but again, we weren't on crazy fish either, because he caught one fish all fucking day. That was it. You know, it wasn't like we were
just in general spawning, like they're going to line their boat up to fish at. But I mean, you just at that point in time, you know, down here, I don't know how it is up there, but the fish that you can see spawning, sometimes your bigger fish will spawn deeper.
Yeah.
And so that's when you throw that tube on. That's when you throw a Ned rig on. That's when you throw a Carolina rig on with a TRD, something small, and you drag that shit, because if he's over there spending 2 hours on one fish,
well, I mean,
you're fan casting every fucking thing you see, and you don't know when you drag that shit across a bed that he can't see.
I was doing that with liplesses. I don't really Ned rig and all that shit. I was dragging liplesses across the bottom, and
my man said liplesses.
Yeah,
liplesses.
Oh, lipless.
He got more S's. He got more S's in that word than fucking Mississippi.
You know, it was a great experience. You know, for my first season ever, and like I said, it was just like, you know what, I want to do this. I'm gonna give this a shot. But if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm not gonna fish a bunch of local tournaments and waste my fucking time. There's no real meaning behind them. There's no, you know what I mean? It's just a local bass tournament, win a couple bucks from somewhere.
So see, this is like the mindset that we have, right? I don't just want to aimlessly fish. Like, I want to fish for something. That's why so when I decided to start fishing again, I looked at the bass clubs around here, and for whatever reason, a lot of them don't take non-boaters anymore, because people are assholes, and they're like, it's just easier not to have non-boaters. And so I had met a couple guys that kayak fished.
But I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the kayak fishing.
Yeah.
It opens that competitive arena. There's so many online tournaments. Right. There's trails. There's that are truly, you know, you're it's like the
fishing
KBF.
For something.
Yeah, the KBF, for instance, the one that Nate fishes in, and a couple other guys fishing. You know, they're fishing to get to something. The Hobie series, they're fishing to get to something. You're not just out there fishing. Like if I want to go fishing for fun, I'll take my son out and go fishing for fun, and we can just waste time, and he'll catch bluegills all day while I tie on his bait, you know?
Yeah. And me and Alex have talked about this a bunch because Alex really doesn't care
I'm the
about,
complete opposite.
Yeah, he doesn't care about
fish. Yeah.
Now look, I will say this. If I had a fishing buddy, like say I lived near Alex and he was like, "Oh, let's go fishing." I'm down. Like, let's go. We can go hang. You know, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But like by myself, you know,
I love it.
Where I am,
I
don't know anybody around here like that. So for me, it's like if I'm gonna go out fishing, why not make it where I could win $1,000?
Yeah.
You know,
all right.
Why not?
So I can tell Alex is getting antsy because we've gone 9 minutes fucking over.
Listen, we are exactly 1 hour into it. Taskmaster is back.
So
you know how this works, Paul.
So OG Scuba, real quick before we get into our lightning round or whatever the fuck Alex pretends to call it.
I've got a name for it.
Oh,
go ahead.
We'll listen to the name in a second. Hey, I want the top 2 pieces of advice you can give to someone who is well, let me there's 2 people. There's the people that aren't sure, like they know about it, but they're not sure if they want to do it. And then you got the folks that are definitely going to do it next year. What's the top 2 pieces of advice you give them individually? So the person that's sitting here going, you know, I want to do this, but I'm not sure. You know, I don't know. Like, what's the 2 pieces of advice you give them?
For that person, I would tell him, if you're that much on the fence, maybe wait, because if not, you're gonna donate. You know, you have to go into it knowing. You have to go into it saying, I want to win. For co-angling and the series that it is now, mind you, there's other series that if you want to go for fun, go for fun. You know, you're not going to get a participation trophy in that series because you have to win. So, you know, if you're on the fence, or if you're unsure about it, like, you have to be confident, because that confidence is going to drive you through that slow time in the beginning of the day when you're not catching a fish, or if you haven't broke that stink off the boat. You need to have that confidence, like, all right, this bait isn't working, but I know that I got this in my box that's going to catch a fish regardless. So let me go to that. And if you don't have that, if you're like, oh, I don't know, or if you're real timid, it's just not going to work. You're going to be miserable. You're going to hate it. You know, and you know, the other thing, if you are that person, you got to reiterate, you know, let's catch a fish. You know, like, let me get this first one. Let me get this first. I don't care if it's a keeper, but let me get this first one, because, you know, you break that stress of not having it in the boat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bring what you're confident in. That's another main thing. Like, bring your confidence. If you fish worms every day of the week from the bank, bring worms, because that's what you're good with.
Right, it's probably not the best idea to start learning something new.
I mean, if you see your boater and he's slamming fish with a crank, but you don't ever crank fish, like, what makes you think you're going to do the same thing? Because you're not going to work with the same cadence. You're not going to have the same style that he works that bait.
You ain't gonna have the same gear either. He's probably got a crank rod that is specific.
That's what I'm saying. So
right, yeah. I mean, there's a big difference there. Well, cool. All right.
You know, I guess that would be one of the main things. Fish to your strengths. You know, what you know works for you. Don't switch just because you see the boater grab 2 fishes. Really. Now, again, he's got his graphs. He's got his screen. So he's seeing things you're not gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is, if you see him pull a fish out of a hole, obviously he's going to be working to get the fish off the hook in his live well. Fish that hole, because where there's 1, there's 2. Where there's 2, there's 3. So shouldn't you ask him if you can? No, he's already caught his fish. Fuck him. Look, I mean, there are some boaters that they'll put their outriggers down, hold their spot, and then if you try to fish the hole, you'll get a little testy. But most guys, once they pull a fish out, they're cool. You know, like, it's open season. Go ahead, do what you got to do. You know, I mean, obviously, if he's reeling it in, don't just right away, right where you know what I mean? Like,
don't try to snag his fish.
Yeah, but if he's working on getting his fish, culled and put in, just go right. That's my second piece. Go right to that same hole because there's gonna be another fish there. So if you're fishing worms and he's fishing cranks and you drop a worm in that same hole, 50% of the time you're gonna get smacked.
50% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
All right, Alex. What
Yeah,
the fuck's
so
the
it's
name
been
of this
great
thing?
having you on, but we are world famous for our rapid fire, which I have now just decided we're going to call Shots Fired.
Okay. This is great. I love it. I love the
So now-
name. Let me
so now
tell y'all
should-
something. I pestered Alex for weeks about we've got spreadsheets, we've got shared notes for this podcast. We've been preparing for him to be gone for weeks. I'm like, look, easiest thing, man, copy paste, put shit on the spreadsheets, put shit in the notes. That's all I need you to do. I will go before and practice doing it. And if I have questions, I'll ask you then. This motherfucker ain't do shit until I ask him at the very last minute.
Paul, this
nice. Hell,
listen,
this
Shots Fired, I
shit
just
is great,
came up.
but you better name that motherfucker on my notes page.
I'll put it in the spreadsheet. I don't have the notes in front of me. I do, Paul. I do have one special one for him as we move down the line on it, though.
Hold on. No, this isn't even the spreadsheet. It is the shared Apple note that says Bass and Brews don't fuck up list while Alex is gone. That's it. And you know what? You know who the only person that has put anything on that list is? Is the motherfucker who has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Listen, you've been doing great.
But that makes the best content.
I probably ruined having Sean the Fisherman on this show ever again. Matter of fact, y'all go check out Jigs and Bigs. Their shit's fucking awesome. It was a great episode that they had this week. It hit Tuesday morning. Go check their shit out. It was a great episode.
If you don't know who Sean the Fisherman is, you need to check he's a fucking stud, man. He catches, he enters like every tournament and his name's always in like the top 10, 15 in kayak fishing.
I know. And see, here's the thing is like he's a really, really good angler. He's really good. But according to Sean the Fisherman, he's the luckiest motherfucker on the planet.
Nah.
He hasn't caught a fish he meant to catch in his entire life.
He's good. All right.
Well, I do want to say this before you get going, Alex.
Dude, this is going to turn into an episode of Jigs and Bigs with the time.
Let's just say, let me just give Alex some props, man. Listen, shut up, man. So amongst the hook
Whoa!
Hold on, let me give Alex some props.
Damn,
amongst the hook set pro staff, we are having an in-house biggest fish tournament, and at the moment, for the last 4 months.
Longer than that. I caught my fish in April.
So from April to now, Alex caught probably 25-inch monster at 6 pounds and set 15 ounces. Yep. And he is leading the in-house tournament at the moment. So I want to just give him some props on that.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. I didn't know there was a tournament. And I know there's some controversy on whether it's supposed to be length or weight.
Yeah. Well, Bill clarified today. He said the next fish that will take the lead has to be 25 inches or up.
Yeah.
Which I think is about right.
Because that one, I didn't put him on a board, but he's about 24. But thank you, man. I appreciate that.
That's especially in the muddy, dirty ass, radioactive waters of Jersey, to catch that is pretty awesome.
You're absolutely right, and I miss those waters so much right now. Paul, it's time for Shots Fired.
All right, Steve. So this could make or break the shitty internet lifestyle that you have created. This is either going to make it even more shitty or it's going to propel you to stardom.
Okay.
And I'll tell you right now, we have had some people who have gone from very renowned anglers throughout the angler world.
Yeah.
That chose an answer for one of the questions that wasn't even part of the answer, and we'll get into this later. He's a great guy, super well known, but
Yeah,
he
sorry,
chose
Josh.
a salad.
We ruined you. Yeah.
Well, goddamn, we've ruined 2 now. Anyway,
Salad. What the
Steve,
fuck?
Wait. Who chose the salad?
you don't remember Bailey choosing spinach?
Bailey
for
chose
his
spinach.
question.
But also another Hooks at Hoodlums member, Delirious. I had him on. He was in like the first. I think he was like number 3. He picked cheese. Delirious is a madman. What he does not understand is the difference between meat and cheese. So.
This bitch said my protein's cheese, motherfucker.
Cheese. All right, let's get at it. What do you got, Paul?
All right. First question. Crocs or flops?
None of the above.
You gotta choose
pick one.
I go fishing in air foam posits.
All right. Show's over.
Hold on.
Fuck OG Scuba. He's fucking up the best part of the whole podcast.
It's gonna be a Crocs because that's basically a shoe, and a Croc would be more of a shoe than a flop. And we lost our guest, so he can go get his shoes.
These are what I fish in.
Yeah, Crocs. We're counting that as a Croc.
Are you out of your mind?
It's more of a shoe than a flop.
This is what I fish in, but if I had to pick, it'd be a flip flop.
Thank you.
Go for
Jesus Christ. This is supposed to be like a lightning round. You just answer the question.
Look,
we don't get props.
Look,
listen, this isn't Bates and Bourbon, all right? We got
yeah.
Look,
this ain't Bates and Bourbon. We don't have Daryl smoking a cigarette in the background on this show.
Look, you could call me. It's one of the guys that I just seen. He fishes in Jordans too. I'm that guy, man. I'm that guy.
I want to go back to when is Daryl gonna get a pro staff shirt? Like
Well,
a really tiny Hooks at Hoodlums pro staff shirt for Daryl.
We got to talk to Bill to see if he can make that happen.
All right, Paul. What do you got?
When's Daryl gonna get his own picture on the Hooks at Hoodlums webpage?
The American
I gotta
everything.
We gotta get Daryl a cell phone. You know, we don't do computers. We do cell phones.
All right, OG. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Fuck no, man. That's a fucking sin.
Yeah, that guy's from Long Island.
Look, I'm from New York, all right? We don't play that shit there. That pineapple shit goes, get the fuck out of here, man.
I mean, it's delicious, but...
No, it's not. It's
you're
not.
right.
It's a fucking sin. You should be killed for that.
Look, fruit goes on ice cream or nothing at all.
You put pepperoni or Italian sausage on a fucking pizza, and that's it. Okay? Bacon and chicken could be honorable mention. Pineapple is like just shoot yourself in the fucking face.
So are you talking about real bacon or Canadian bacon?
No. I don't put ham on fucking pizza.
Thank you. This is your shit right here. Canadian bacon ain't fucking bacon. That bitch is ham.
Anybody can fry ham. It's like putting Spam on fucking pizza.
It's delicious.
Oh, goddamn, boy. I will eat a Spam, egg, and cheese sandwich like nobody's business.
All right, Paul, roll it in.
I will eat Spam out the can cold. That shit is delicious.
Spam
That's disgusting. That's fucking nasty.
Nah.
Don't
fight with him, Paul. Keep going.
Cold Spam.
Shots fired.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. The congealed juice of cold Spam.
What?
Look,
bro,
you don't have to drink it. You can serve it.
Listen, my old lady likes those wieners in a can.
Yeah.
The Vienna sausages in a can. That's fucking disgusting.
Sausages.
That's fucking disgusting, bro. Disgusting.
Look, dude. Look, the Vienna sausages.
Now, look. Let me give you some insight, okay? My old lady, she for her birthday dinner every year, she has fucking shepherd's pie. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, listen, they that shit is for poor people.
It's delicious.
But look, her family is so goddamn rich, they eat it like it's a delicacy.
Oh, they eat poor, so they feel like they're being risky.
Hold up now.
They're like, we're going to have poor food.
Shepherd's pie. Ooh.
Hold up.
I think one of the servants eat that.
She's cursing me out right now on the couch.
God damn it. Y'all quit cutting me off. Am I talking to myself here? I mean, goddamn. Look, let me tell you something. Do they make shepherd's pie with beef, or do they make that shit with lamb?
It's usually a mixture of both.
They make it with
shepherd's pie is made with fucking lamb. You
make
ask,
it with lamb base?
ask Gordon Ramsay.
They mix it with both.
Yeah, you do like usually you use like a meatloaf mix.
Shepherd's pie is like the shit you make when you have nothing in the house. You just have like potatoes, corn, meat, and cheese. So you throw it all in a fucking pot. That's like poor people shit, man. It's like grits.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Oh, fuck.
She's on the podcast now going, oh my God, it's delicious.
Bitch, you ain't talking about no grits. Hold on. Fuck no, we ain't talking shit about no grits.
Paul. Oh, it's all derailed. It was supposed to be done 15 minutes ago.
Look at the back of my shirt. Can y'all read
What are you doing,
shit?
Paul? That's just your ass.
Yeah, we can't read it.
Look, bitch, I grew up grinding grits.
Okay, now that's great. You grew up poor, right?
This shit ain't no poor people food.
I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I don't want to eat it now because I work for a living and I don't have to. You know?
Paul, let's go. Keep rolling, dude.
Paul, let me ask you a question, Paul. Did you grow up rich?
No, we are on shots
Paul,
fired.
did you grow up lightning round? Did you grow up rich?
Motherfucker, hell no, I ain't grow up rich.
Exactly. So grits is poor people food, man. Don't be proud of that
ain't
shit.
Poor people food.
Yes, it is, man. Look, I grew up eating powdered fucking eggs and milk from fucking the WIC program, okay? It's poor people food. I ain't eating that shit now, though.
That's poor city folk. I grew up in the country. Like, we ate shit that we grew, caught, killed, like largemouth bass.
Oh, that's
you know what? I used to grow a ending segment to the show. I grew a whole ending segment to it, and it is completely off the rails at this point.
So first of all, Alex,
what did you expect?
Fuck you. It's 6:30. It's 6:30 where you are right now.
Yeah,
it's not 9:30. It's 6:30. It is 9:30 for me and him time. So we're the ones running late. Anyway, I cannot. Y'all, the grit hate ain't gonna happen.
I didn't say I hate
every
grits.
bit of that shit out.
I never said I hated it. I just said it's poor people food. That's it.
Listen, if
and I
you
used
guys
to be
are
poor.
listening,
I grew up dirt poor. So
hold on.
Okay.
If you guys are listening, go to @OG_Scuba_Fishing. Find his most recent post and just put #poor people food. I just want you to put that and spam whatever his latest post is with #poor people food. I don't even know if that's a hashtag, but we're going to make one.
Also, make sure you go to his last 10 posts and all the posts after this and make sure you say promote at Fish Nation.
they don't have to. They do that every fucking time.
Yeah.
Look, I have the greatest, when those people say promote at so-and-so, I love what I do. It takes some time, but I love it. Only one person answered back, and it seriously ended up being like 50 comments of them trying to answer me back. Anyway, all right, let's move on past the grit hate, because this motherfucker thought he was poor, but he's not poor enough to eat grits, so fuck him.
We didn't have grits in the north.
Pretend poor.
We couldn't even afford grits, motherfucker.
He just had grits.
They free. All you do is get dry corn and grind it up.
Where the fuck is he going to get dry corn in Long Island?
Yeah, where are we getting corn? Exactly.
I mean, the homeless people turns on the side of the street. Let that shit dry out. I don't know. I ain't never been to Long Island. You said you lived in Florida.
I did. I lived in Florida for a little bit.
Down there.
That's where. Hey, you know what? When I moved to Florida, that's where I discovered gravy and biscuits.
Mm-hmm. Well, so historical fact is biscuits and gravies ain't no southern food. That shit is a northern food. Everybody associates it with the South. But that shit's from the North. I mean, goddamn.
We never had that shit up north. And the gravy is totally different because up north we have like brown gravy, like turkey gravy or chicken gravy.
Yeah.
Down south, that shit's different. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Gravy and biscuits
we can't talk about food because we can't. All right. In a 3-hour session, 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder.
I'll take that 7-pounder. Fuck those 5 2-pounders.
Man.
Well, it depends. If I'm in a tournament.
Oh, nope. There ain't no depends.
It's over.
This ain't a commercial for adult diapers. Nope. Ain't no depending. We are not shitting our pants on this show. I have not
golden.
Listen, if we don't hurry up, we are going to be shitting. Somebody's going to be shitting their pants on this show.
Be all right. All right, so we got another half hour to go.
Wacky or Texas rig?
Texas rig. Fuck a wacky rig.
Slow jams or hype music? Are you eating largemouth?
No. I don't eat fish at all. But hype music.
All right. So my special question, we talked about it earlier. This is going to be a very decisive one. Who is your favorite member of the Wu-Tang?
That's a tough question, man.
I mean, there's only 2 right answers.
Are you kidding me? There's 8 members, man.
They're like the Backstreet Boys of rap.
Hey, come on, man. That's now you just straight disrespect.
What you got, man?
I'm either gonna go with
there's no either.
Raekwon the Chef or Method Man.
Those are picks. I mean, those are good picks.
And then
Method Man I would pick. But I
Method Man here too.
My wild card would be ODB.
Yeah, ODB. Yeah.
All right, man. All right, and the only question that really matters, right? The only question that really matters. This is literally why people listen to 1 hour and 21 minutes of this.
And 36 seconds.
And 36 seconds. Every fisherman loves a sandwich. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins?
Honey turkey, honey ham.
Honey turkey, honey ham. Don't say spinach.
Chicken. Oh, and bacon. And bacon. I'm sorry. Honey turkey, honey ham, and bacon.
Like it. I love it, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been great. You killed it, man.
I think Paul had another question.
We forgot one. Who of the Hookset Hoodlum owners do you love and want to hug the most?
I like that. That's a new one, Paul. I like that one.
But this is a special question because we only get a few people to ask this one. Who do you love? Who do you love the most, and who would you want to give the biggest man hug to?
Wait, Paul. Can we turn it back around on them and just do marry, fuck, kill?
Sure. Yes. Let's do that.
Marry, fuck, kill. You've got Bill. You've got Drew. And you've got the cyborg.
This is out of control. Well, obviously, I would try to kill the cyborg, but wouldn't work.
Because he's not a real person.
Yeah, not a real person. So, I'd marry Drew and just fuck Bill.
I think that's the right answer.
Bill is a handsome motherfucker.
No, but Bill's always fishing, so the wife's home with the kids and alone and shit, and
yeah, but Bill's dirty. He's got that Tweety Bird chest tattoo. You know what I mean?
And that rape mustache.
Exactly. Steve, thanks so much for coming on, brother.
Look, who shaves a beard to have a rape mustache?
He does, because he's a weirdo.
All right. Going off the rails.
It's been great. This is a great episode to come back to.
Thank you for having me. Hey, check out Hookset Hoodlums. Best fishing apparel company, and they're coming out with some performance hoodies. Hopefully this week. New hat just dropped last week. Mm-hmm. Check out Beast Coast Fishing for their, jigs, their soft plastics, everything. I'm not on the pro staff or anything with them. Just I catch fish with their shit, and that's all I can say. Stretching lines, anglers gear, soft plastics, all handmade in the USA. I think that's all I got, man. Thanks to whatever companies I've used for this tournament season. Favorite fishing rods, Shimano USA, Shimano Japan, spear point hooks, Seagar line. Those are the, what I've used personally. Shout out to OGO. I had gotten to a jam. I needed some stuff for a tournament. They got it to me in like 2 days. If you hit up if you hit up Joe at OGO and you need something, he's gonna get it to you ASAP. He's got JDM reels now. He's got kayaks now. He's got some
Joe
stuff.
Brown.
But yeah, he's
that's the Jugs and Bugs. Taking it back to the Jugs.
At Old Glory Outdoors, small bait shop, veteran owned, support it, check it out. I don't think I have much more. Shout out to all the Hooks at Hoodlums that support the page, everybody that follows me. I appreciate it. It's been a short time, and I just try to show you what I do every day. That's all I got, really. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate that.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. This was awesome.
Brother.
And a final shout out to the daddies of Bass and Brews, Jigs and Biggs.
Bobby Roast Beef just got a new car. Congratulations to him. It's not a Subaru.
Really?